Hello, keyboard friends. I hope you're all having a lovely day. This is going to be the final video in the Keyboard A to Z series, which again is a more beginner oriented series. However, this is the least beginner oriented of all the videos. This video is all about finding happiness, finding your place in the keyboard hobby long term, not ending up with 40 different keyboards. So that's uh, that's the gist of today's video. It's all about building your knowledge, refining your collection, being smart with your purchases, and exploring the community and making friends. You know, all that good jazz. So this video is going to be more metaphorical and philosophical than the other videos, but I hope you guys enjoy it. And here we are. So, firstly, thank you for watching through this series. If you have watched through this series, and if you haven't watched through these series, then thank you in advance for watching through the series. So, let's just get right into it. I mean, I've been in this hobby for quite a long time. Been around the block a few times. I've made a lot of friends. I've worked with a lot of makers. I've done my own projects. All sorts of stuff like that. I consider myself fairly knowledgeable. There's always a lot more than that anyone can learn. But that gets us into our very first part of just being happy. Just build up your knowledge and refine your collection, right? As you get more pro in this hobby, refine your builds, right? From a meetup experience, for example, between the guy that brings 20 keyboards that are okay and 5 builds that are amazing, I'm going to respect the second guy a lot more. You know, anybody can buy 20, 30 keyboards. It's not about spending money. Again, I've said this many times, buying things is not a hobby. What we do with our builds is what defines the hobby, play with switches, try out different kind of stabs. As a pro, you should be well traveled and experienced with a lot of materials and build materials, right? You should be able to fiddle with new plates, which there will be a video coming soon about that, and even case materials. You should be able to explore. Buying a keyboard is not the end of the line. There's always so much more to do. I've got builds from 2017 that I'm still rebuilding and rebuilding, just trying to get it just right. And to be fair, when I go to a meetup and I drop my builds down, everybody universally goes, "Wow, these are fantastic builds. I hate this keyboard so much, but your build is great." So put in the effort, put in the effort. And if you hate it, okay? If you hate it, don't be afraid to just sell stuff, right? Like building your knowledge and refining your collection. Refining your collection is adding more boards, getting those boards perfectly, but also removing boards you don't use that you don't like. Remember, this is a hobby. Don't be an asshole. If you're in the hobby with the intention of making money, you're not going to have a good time. Making money is not a hobby. Making money is a job. And I'm in the keyboard hobby. I'm not in the keyboard job business, And with the keyboard market the way that it is, a lot of boards are worth a lot less than they used to be worth, which is great. They're keyboards. So what I'm trying to get at here is if you need to sell to a friend or somebody that you know will greatly enjoy the build or the keyboard, right? Don't treat your keyboards like objects. Treat them as if they're a pet. And if you're going to give a pet to somebody, you want to know that it's going to go to a good home. Like, sure, you're potentially leaving money on the table, but again, making an additional $50 to $100 on a keyboard sale is not going to be the secret to happiness. But making somebody's day or somebody's month or somebody's year by giving them something they otherwise would not have had access to, that will bring you joy. I know some of you think that that's not true, but it will absolutely bring you joy. So don't be afraid to sell off things you really don't like. You're allowed to not like a keyboard. It's totally fine. As long as you put the effort in, you've played around with it, and you're just like, this is not for me. Get rid of it. Refine first, If you can't refine it, get it off your plate. Get it off your plate. For reference, I do sell keyboards. Like I sell my boards to friends. You know, uh, most recent thing I sold was I think my AEK64, my Unicorn, my M60, a few other boards, but like they were all sold to friends. They were all sold to friends, and all of them were enjoyed. So hey, and that gets us into the second major point of just being happy. Be smart with your purchases, right? Be smart with your purchases. That means a lot of things, right? Like, sure, buying things is part of this hobby, but again, buying things is not the hobby. Spending money is not a skill and is no measure of happiness in this hobby. You know, if you have the means to go out and buy like, an OTD CL, cool. Is it going to make you happier than another equivalent keyboard? Probably not, you know? So, firstly, don't enter raffles unless you know you really want the item, right? Only go for stuff that you know is going to be better or significantly different than what you've already got, right? Be patient. If a group buy isn't exactly what you want, then wait until one comes out. That's going to be exactly what you want. There's new projects all the time. And this is more important for people that are just entering the hobby more so than people that have been in the hobby a long time. But, if you look at a project and you say, this is great, I just wish this thing was different. Don't buy it. Wait for the future where that thing will be different. I sit down every week on my live stream, blacksimon.tv, and review group buys and ICs. And every week there's a new 60%, there's multiple 65%, there's TKLs, there's new form factors, there's new materials all the time. So don't feel rushed because you see something and it looks like it's almost good for you. Just wait until you get something that's good for you. Take that cash that you were going to spend, just put it aside. Wait, it will always come along, And the goal isn't to stop buying boards entirely, but to be experienced enough to weigh your decisions well. Like a seasoned hobbyist of any kind, you make your moves carefully, right? For me, I have a lot of boards, but remember, you only have one set of hands, right? The perfect amount of boards for me is like 3 to 5, even for somebody super deep into the hobby. From my own collection, I have a favorite set of 3 to 5 boards that I would always hold on to, even if I got rid of the rest. I dabble. This is dabbling, but I've got the core boards that matter to me. And realistically, I couldn't possibly type on all of these. Barely type on the thing that's on my desk. So yeah. Sorry, minor rant. Finally, please avoid buying stuff on Met Market. Yes, I'm gonna say it again. My entire collection was purchased in group buy, except for the one keyboard we don't talk about. All of these were purchased at group buy. And look how good my collection is. Okay? I've got KFEs, ciphers, Illuminati boards, TGR boards, Singa KBD boards, random boards, real forces, all that stuff. I've got also nice boards over here too. I've got nice boards on my desk. It was all during group buy. Patience pays off. Patience pays off. I entered the hobby not with the intention of getting particular boards or going aftermarket and getting the thing that I really, really want. And I've turned down I've turned down really good offers. I've turned down OTD courses for $700. I've turned down KMAC Happies for $500. I've turned down a CL Dark Gray edition for around about $1,000, which all of these are really good prices, but all of these are too high compared to the group buy price. And I personally, I'm just comfortable paying the group buy price. And if that means I can't have something, then I can't have it. It's fine. Patience pays off. And not being an actual idiot and blowing cash on Mac Market means you can get something way nicer down the line. If, for example, you missed the F1722 that recently happened, you had two options. You could have gone on Mech Market and spent $1,000, or you could have just waited 2 weeks and there was an unlimited buy announced for $400. Think of how much you could have done with that 1,000. Or, oh, I'm going to go and buy a key code aftermarket for $2,000. There's going to be another run. It's going to be like $600, and you have a chance at that. You can spend that $400 on super nice switches, super nice caps, maybe even funding your local meetup experience, transportation, food, stuff like that. That $400 is going to be gone anyway if you buy it on Mech Market. So put it to something useful. Maybe take the $400, maybe, buy like 3 or 4 like super low tier boards and give them out. Give them to people. Give them to people that don't have the means to enter the hobby. My point is, Mech Market is generally a terrible deal. And maybe sometime in the future, I'll go through all the psychological effects of why it's a bad deal. But just for now, trust me, don't go on Mech Market. Like I say it all the time. If you're going to buy something aftermarket, be 200% sure. Not 100% sure. 200% sure. Because you're paying more than 200% of the price. All right. Finally, okay, the most important part of this is explore the community and make friends. Okay? As you get more pro in the hobby, friendships in this hobby are going to mean a lot more to you. Your goal should be to bring the best builds that you can to the table. I kind of, I jumped around a little bit, but like, make friends, go to meetups, okay? Take your best builds and leave them and hang out with your friends. That's basically my Dubai meetup experience. It was fantastic. I went there, I put my 5 builds down, or however many builds I took, put them on the table, and I spent the entire time just hanging out with people. And it was fantastic. It was great. We hung out at the meetup, before the meetup, after the meetup, in between the meetup, in the bathrooms, all of that. Not actually in the bathrooms. But again, I don't know. For me, keyboard friends are the best friends, and they're free, Remember that like your keyboard friends actually share interests with you, They're actually friends. They're friends through a hobby, but they're still absolutely friends. And the friendships that are built in this hobby are a lot more powerful than like, a rectangle. That's my take. I don't know. My experience has been very positive when it comes to the community aspect of this hobby, and just being able to just, talk to people and talk about the things that we enjoy together and discuss and debate. It makes me happy. And listen, if it gets too hectic for you, then, step back, take a break. Take a break from the core hobby, but hang out with your friends from the hobby. Talk about everything else. Explore your friendships, If, I'm trying to take it easy and I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with keyboards, I'm still going to see keyboard friends. We're just not going to talk about boards. Go out, we'll have dinner, we'll watch TV, we'll do whatever, I don't know. This is going to be a terrible video. But again, this video is about finding happiness in the keyboard hobby, and I am pretty happy in the keyboard hobby, so there is that. All right, finally, the very last thing is teach others. Spread your knowledge. All hobbies are based on having pros and amateurs. Become the pro and then spread your knowledge. Helping people in this hobby is incredibly rewarding. It's incredibly rewarding for selfish reasons because, you get to feel good as you help people. It's incredibly rewarding in terms of the entirety of the community, in which you are better educating people that need this education. You are grooming them to be good hobby members instead of idiots that are going to go pay $2,000 for a rectangle on Mech Market, or somebody that's going to fall for the trap of the most noob bait keyboard ever for $800. Spread your knowledge. That's what I do, and I love doing it. I love just talking to people about stuff, Am I right 100% of the time? No, nobody is. But at least I put in the effort to help people out. I would really enjoy it if there were more people in the hobby like us, and less people in the hobby that are just in it to buy big flashy things and be like, "Ooh, look at me, I have money." That's not what a hobby's about. Not at all. So I guess that's it. That's it. Like, you want to be happy in this hobby? Build your knowledge, refine your collection, be smart with your purchases, and most importantly, explore the community. Make some friends, man. Make some friends. And if you need a keyboard friend, hit me up on Discord. I'll be your keyboard friend. I got you. I mean, first things first, thank you all for watching through the series, if you have been watching through the series. Elsa! And it's all about, the three major things to follow as you're just, trying to get ahead in this hobby. And that is one. Elsa, are you going to stop? Elsa, what? You stop with the zoomies?